When he set a goal, he never let go of it. And the end result is where he is today.
If you can go through life and count on one hand the number of real friends that you have, it's a lot. I consider Mike that friend.
He's wonderful. I mean, he's a great father. One of the things that he's taught all of us is how to address problems head on, straightforward, how to deal with everything that comes our way.
He gives you the ability to rise to levels that you didn't really think were within your own spirit. He can certainly see people's potential long before they do.
They say that girls marry their dads, and I think I married my dad. Mike is funny, he's caring, family and friends are very dear to him. He's a great guy. And my dad always liked him, so that's something I hold dear.
Michael Austin John Farrell was born in Brooklyn on April 10th, 1951.
Very quiet little boy with a very poor appetite. I remember as a child all he would eat would be peas and bologna, and my mother was always fretting about his weight and health, thinking that he'd never grow.
But young Michael eventually got enough to eat, and the boy took root in Brooklyn, along with his 6 siblings.
In the middle 50s, we moved into the house that I consider where I grew up, which was on 59th Street and 7th Avenue in Brooklyn. Back then it was called Bay Ridge. It was a 3-family with we had an Italian shoemaker at the bottom and two apartments upstairs.
At first there was a shoemaker downstairs, which my father renovated that floor and then made that into an apartment. But we lived in every one of those floors. So sometimes in the shoemaker apartment, there was only 2 bedrooms. So the 4 boys shared one room, and then the 3 girls shared the other, and then Mom and Dad were on the pull-out couch.
My mother really just gave me what I consider the greatest gift that any parent can give their kids, which is the freedom to fail and to go out and try and flap your wings and see what happens. My mother's thing is you should pursue your own vision of what you think is life, and that you shouldn't be afraid to try new things and that you might fail. So I identified more strongly with her. I would still say that that's a very powerful influence. My path was different than what my dad expected it to be.
In 1971, National Guardsman Mike Farrell joined the management training program at the investment house E.F. Hutton. He was eventually put in charge of stock operations.
Because of the courses I took in high school and college, I was the only guy in the company that knew how to use a keyboard. Right? It was still a fairly unique thing for a guy to be using a keyboard back then.
Mike was ultimately put in charge of the company's Vista network, the first electronic trading and accounting system on Wall Street. As a result of this work, Mike was exposed to senior management as an ambitious young executive, and he began his move up the ladder. Through much of this time, Mike continued with his music. He was part of a few bands and even cut a demo reel. After a long look at a potential music career, Mike decided to concentrate on business. In 1991, Mike Farrell agreed to help a Denver-based company, then known as Citadel Funding, fine-tune its high-net-worth business. With his knowledge of capital markets, Mike helped recreate the company by institutionalizing it. By the mid-1990s, Mike had bought out the other partners and concentrated on forming a public company.
All the guys, the traditional guys on Wall Street, were turning me down.
Welcome to the economic recovery.
But in 1996, an underwriter met with Mike Farrell and his team and admired their track record. Some capital for a domestic deal was offered by FBR of Arlington, Virginia.
And I just dusted off the REIT prospectus that I'd written in my garage in 1992. 6 weeks later, I had an engagement letter. 4 months later after that, we did our private placement. And then 6 months after that, we were on the floor of the stock exchange ringing the bell. So it was a very quick rush to fame, if you will, from that period. But it was after years of toiling and trying to get the thing done.
Annalee Mortgage, as it is known today, was out of the gate. Annalee Castle is the ancestral home of the Farrell family outside of Dublin. The company logo is the Farrell family crest. Annalee is listed on the New York Stock Exchange and is a leading player in mortgage-backed securities, arbitrage, and investment income, and is qualified as a real estate investment trust.
He doesn't place too much emphasis on a lot of things that other traditional Wall Street firms might place the same emphasis on. And I think that's part of the reason why he is such a great judge of character and has spawned this very successful company from nothing, where a lot of others might not have done so well. But yes, he looks at the whole organization as his family.
Sometimes you're going to be up, sometimes you're going to be down, but you have to measure both those things. My personal life was the same way. I've had that same roller coaster. I've had disappointments and I've had victories. I can look them both in the eye and say, you're not that much different.
Marrying Mary Flynn was a clear victory.
I love him because he's a great guy. He is. He's the best. He's fun to be with. As he says he wants on his tombstone, he was fun while he lasted. He is caring. He is a great dad, great husband, great brother, great friend. He's just all around wonderful. The king.
I had the grace of a great middle-class existence. I consider this as sort of the fulfillment of my parents' ambitions. You know, they wanted a better life for their kids. I don't think they really would have understood the length and breadth of what's happened to me. I think they would have a very difficult time intellectually understanding because it would just be so foreign to them. I mean, they'd be happy for me, but it would be a very difficult thing for them to understand. During our honeymoon, we met my parents over in Dublin in 1983, and after having a couple of beers with my dad, I said, thanks for leaving, because the world that I would have grown up in there would not have afforded me the opportunities that I have here. I'm fulfilling really the gamble that they took in 1948 to come over here and make life better.